I wonder, what does everybody else cook when stuck in a rut? Being the default person when it comes to preparing food in a family can sometimes become really tiring. And it's not about the act of cooking the food itself. It's the "what am I going to cook again" part. And what I tend to do when I feel this way is I always reach for veggies. What you see on screen now is me doing just that. I put some carrots and broccoli to boil, and in the meantime I'm gonna prepare roasted peppers. Speaking of which, I simply couldn't get over the size of these. Recently the size of peppers at our local supermarket has been out of control. I know tossing a frozen pizza in the oven would be much quicker than this, and sometimes that's what I do. But most of the times I convince myself to take the extra couple of minutes to do better for my family. And myself, of course, because for example, the parsnip I'm preparing right now, nobody else likes it. It's all for me. I put the parsnip and the peppers to roast with just salt, black pepper and olive oil. For now, these were all veggies that I have in my fridge most of the time. But look what I found today. Fennel. If you were ever eyeballing it at a supermarket and wondered what to do with it, let me show you what I do. I slice it really thin and take out the cores, which are really nice to crunch on raw. It sort of looks like onions, but I promise you the taste is very different. And I should know something about this because I hate onions. If I should describe the taste, I would say it's a mix between apple, cucumber and chewing gum. I know, the best thing you can do is try them yourself. I added olive oil and vegetable stock to the fennels and they go in the oven. Once the liquid evaporates and they start getting crunchy, I move them from the edges so that they don't burn and sprinkle with breadcrumbs and parmesan. These two create a nice crunchy crust on top. If you want to, you can also add some more olive oil or butter. I first tried fennel prepared this way at my husband's aunt and stuck with the recipe since then. Another thing I like to stick with is tofu as a quick source of protein. When not willing to put too much thought into what we'll have for dinner, we usually end up eating tofu or eggs surrounded with vegetables. Unless it's that frozen pizza kind of situation. Usually I cut the tofu into smaller cubes, but today kids were starving. So I saved time by cutting it into bigger chunks, which I then rolled in cornstarch. Then I quickly pan-fried it in ghee on both sides. And while it was frying, I started to read the ingredients on the store-bought tofu stir-fry sauce and had the wildest idea. Now watch me mix soy sauce and baby food. Yep, you heard me right, baby food. Why? Because I realized the main ingredients in the store-bought sauce were literally soy sauce, mango and roasted peppers. And then I thought, I have all of these at home, just in a slightly different form. So I whisked them all together and let me tell you, this was everyone's favorite tofu so far. Take this as your sign to not be scared of experimenting in the kitchen. We now have a new favorite stir-fry sauce with much cleaner ingredients than the store-bought one. We usually always have some leftover rice or pasta in our fridge. This is a must with growing boys. I mix and match that with the veggies and the tofu to create 3 custom-made plates. The last one, the one that is mostly packed with veggies, is obviously mine. I'm really hoping that my boys will follow suit and one day there will be no vegetable left that they don't enjoy. Same like me. All the world's food could disappear. As long as there is vegetables, butter and bread, I think I should be fine. And just to prove you that this was not an exception, I just wanted to quickly show you what I ended up doing the day after for dinner. With mild variations, pretty much the same thing. Pulling out all the veggies I had in the fridge, boiling them in salty water, some of them in the same pot, to save water, time and space. And dishes. Some days I'm in the mood for butter, but usually I drizzle some olive oil over the veggies once cooked. As I said before, my boys are at an age where they would not be satisfied with a dinner made of veggies only. This time they asked for spaghetti with tomato sauce, one of their recent favorites. If they want to eat the same thing on repeat, but it's reasonable, I really don't mind. So I'm adding string beans for the sake of being reasonable, and corn for the sake of happiness. Clumsy is my default setting, but this evening was really extra. Runaway food all over the place. My older son was extra hungry after a training session, hence the giant portion of spaghetti with cheddar cheese and just a handful of string beans. Very much unlike him, I wasn't feeling hungry at all, likely the first signs of the flu that I'm currently down with. One more good reason to at least eat a handful of veggies. So did I convince you that veggies can be just as convenient as a frozen pizza? Or at least a good contender? Or was it all just wishful thinking? Thanks for watching and see you soon!